No.
Okay, well, here we'll skip the usual formalities and get to the other formalities then.
Cool.
Um, Agenda item number one is review and approval of the May 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes. Tanya, I was going through these today. I was doing some housekeeping in the public share.
Hmm.
These are pretty accurate, but what I'm going to do is, and I didn't have time to do this obviously in the rush to jump on the call. I'm going to see if I can find the link to download Zoom's automatic transcript of the meeting
Oh,
that,
cool.
and I don't know when that is provided, how long after the meeting it's provided. The last two I've gotten it like basically when the next meeting started. So Brad's notes don't have or they might have even been mine. I might have ended up taking the notes from last time because Brad couldn't. But the what I've been doing with the last couple months is to back up the published meeting minutes with the transcript. So in the link to in the share, which I'll send the link around again, um, that's why it'll look like there's duplicative meeting minutes.
Okay.
One of them is technically the meeting minutes, and the other is an actual line by line transcript of the meeting.
Right.
Um, One thing, okay, yeah, I just wanted to check one thing to make sure that this was being recorded, and it is.
Yep.
Okay, so motion to approve the May 22nd meeting minutes.
I motion, but do we have enough people?
I'll second. You got
Okay.
me. Yeah, we need we need two people to run a meeting. We need five people to vote.
Okay, yeah.
So five people for a quorum.
Woo.
Um, the next agenda item is public forum. Jim, you have anything for us this week? All right. Tanya, the note I sent around earlier with the link to a document with links from last month. I will note in last month's meeting minutes, there was an agenda, or there was mention of the bank sliding away on West Street in front of Martin's. I did not get a chance to reach
Yeah.
out to Jessica and Ian about that to see if there was any additional opportunity to do anything more because it seemed like people were circling around West Street being one of the problem streets for sidewalks.
Right. I feel like there was a post or something saying it was completed for
Yep,
now. So I
yep,
don't, but and that was before then. So I
yep.
don't think there's anything we can do with that, honestly. But
Got it, got it. I will note that after another month of walking the sidewalks, something that we were discussing around that topic, a lot of the sidewalks are in rough shape.
yes.
Um, Very, very rough shape. In fact, a lot of the streets are in rough shape in the village now,
Hmm.
which wasn't the case like 2 years ago.
No,
Um,
I mean, all the rain and flooding and everything, I think it has been a hard hitting couple of years for
yeah,
everything.
yeah. One note on one of the links, and we'll just, if nobody's got anything else, we'll just move up to the grants thing. We can always jump in at the end in the next agenda item.
Hmm.
One of the links is to a list of grants.
Yep, I see.
Um, and there's a deadline on one of them that's coming up July 11th, I think it is. I'm going to reach out again to the town grant writer. I'm going to copy Ian on it because I mentioned in the last meeting I've been having trouble with email getting through to people. So I'll reach
Oh,
out to the grant writer, get with her that list and all of the initiatives that we approved
hmm.
back a couple months ago, package those up and hopefully get them in front of the select board before June 11th.
Okay, cool.
Um, I will also note that our select board liaison, Jess Teets, she's been out of the country
Oh,
for a month or so, but she has been forwarding me stuff. Um, and Ian is obviously there for us as well, but he's also been extremely busy covering the some of the other positions and things like that going on. But trying to think if there's anything else. There was one email that I'll forward that Jess had forwarded from someone in the village about a couple things. I'll forward, she sent that to me a little bit ago. I'll send that to everybody. It's nothing, I don't believe it's any new item or anything like that. It's just something that reinforces a pre-existing initiative of ours.
Okay. On the sidewalk thing,
Yeah.
is it illegal for someone to repair a hole in the sidewalk themselves? Do you know? Like a small, like if there's a broken piece, if they fill it, is that bad?
I'm not going to say that I've considered similar things.
I was just curious about the legality because I know people do that in Burlington. Artist.
There's, is it legal? Like, I don't know if the term is technically one of legality or illegality.
Right.
Um, there are challenges obviously around spec and code.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, I've seen this for decades in many different things.
Hmm.
Um, I don't, obviously, obviously there's no code in the Vermont whatever that says here's the guidelines for private citizens to fix infrastructure.
Okay. Just curious.
So, but I also know that people who have done, whether it's something like this or done things that are additive rather than restorative,
Hmm.
certainly aren't operating under any guidelines either. They're just like see an opportunity to make a community better.
Exactly.
I'll beg forgiveness rather than ask permission.
Yep.
Um, I will I will ask what the status is on the survey and whether they actually acted on that. I know that last year the Pine Street renovation took up so much of the bandwidth
Yeah.
of everyone as far as public works projects go. So it wouldn't surprise me if sidewalk repairs had kind of gotten pushed back because of that.
Yeah. And I know sidewalks are just insanely expensive. Uh,
Yeah. And the whole point of, I think, priority one of the survey was a sort of triage and prioritization.
mhm.
But again, 2 years on from that, a lot of the sidewalks are in worse shape than the bad sidewalks were
Yes.
when the survey was done.
Yeah. It's very rough now.
Not that I would know anything about sidewalk repair, but there are a number of different, depending on the damage, there are a number of different things. There's quickcrete. There's something called hydraulic cement. Um, a fan favorite is a new product by Bondo that was designed for skateboarders to repair
Oh,
sidewalk cracks and things like that.
cool.
So there's any number of actual things like there that are out there to repair cracks. You know,
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the like pothole bandit stuff in Burlington,
yeah,
but that just made me wonder, like, is that legal in Vermont or
I don't know that it's legal anywhere. I think honestly what it comes down to, from what I have seen, the responses to these things range from the best response that people are looking for is no response to somebody out there say, being very sort of righteous and saying, "Hey, that was your head's in the right place, but you shouldn't do that." And
right?
they go and jackhammer it and make it worse, and they don't
Yeah,
actually fix. They'll go and rip the patch up and not fix the whole kind of a
right.
thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I will say that I almost I actually I need to send a note to Eric Coda and the work crew to thank them for painting the stop lines,
Hmm.
because not if another day had gone by, I would have been out there. I had done the research a couple of years ago to find out what paints used and all that stuff.
Yep.
Um, anyway, enough about or maybe not enough about. Maybe we need to discuss it more.
No,
But
now we're
public works projects. Um, yeah, so I'll follow up. I have to see who I can follow up with because Valerie was the one that originally had spearheaded all that, and I don't know if the responsibility has moved to somebody else outside of, obviously, Ian had been holding the line on that. I did get a note. Hold on, let me see if the answer is in the note back that I got back when we posted the agenda. Um, no, this was a note from Sharon Lucia about just some things that she needed adjusted on the agenda format, and there was no update on like our agenda format currently has um, Ian as the interim town admin, so she didn't correct me on that. So he's still the person. He's the person I'm going to reach out to on the
Okay,
sidewalk thing. All right,
cool.
cool. Um, Anything else for agenda? All right, well, we'll just jump to covered grants. I'm gonna actually I'll probably condense grants update and quarterly initiatives into one since they're moving in the same direction right now, thanks to the vote. Do we have any other business for this month?
No other official business. I was wondering about, I know there's a bike race, what, Saturday?
Yes, the Grand Fondo, they're still looking for volunteers and all
They
that.
are-
Yes.
I was thinking of reaching out to see if they needed any early morning help, but I didn't know if that was anything. I mean, it's not exactly town led, but at the same time, like the human powered parade, is that something that we should look into having a presence in at all in future, or is that something you think doesn't?
So it's interesting you mentioned that. Earlier this week, I reached out to a person about or a person reached out to me about something that was completely not BPAC related.
Mhm.
And we were going back and forth and just trying to establish common ground and did we know each other and things like that. And I realized that this was the person who actually ran the Gran Fondo, and they're a village resident.
Oh, my, what's his name? Um, drawing a blank. My neighbor on Mountain Street.
Yeah, Todd Warnick.
Todd, thank you.
I had no idea that the people who ran I assumed that the Gran Fondo was something done outside the boundaries
Yeah,
of Bristol.
yeah. Yep, no, he's a neighbor. He's like 3 houses over from me.
Interesting. And I don't know if he's sticking around in town. I'm not quite sure based on some of the things he was saying, but it dawned on me as like, oh my gosh, like if we had known this, like I'm actually surprised they didn't reach out to us in the same way that some of the, like bike walk and roll and safe streets and people like that have done in the past, and obviously human powered parade. Um,
True.
but I do think it's a good idea, and I do think if it, it could be in the form of presence there, it could be in the form of them helping us promote and us helping them promote, kind of a thing, because obviously what they're doing is hand in glove with what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Um,
might email him tonight and see if he still needs any early morning help on Saturday. Um, I don't know if he's still looking at his email this last minute, but
yeah, let me check. There might be one other um, way. Hold on one second.
my house isn't totally ready for guests. I know he was looking for help there, but
I saw something. It might have been from Meredith actually. Hold on. Um, I feel like it was from the rec club. Um, there's the one from Sharon. There's Todd's, but that was last week. So I must have seen it it might have come through it might have come through Bristol Rec or something like that. But
yeah.
I had seen a call for volunteers too. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll shoot him an email tonight and see. But
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
But yeah, it seemed like something in the future, like a great thing we could partner with in some small way.
I believe so. It struck me. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this was actually being run so close to home.
Yeah, he's super.
Um, yeah, and I just didn't even again,
Well,
like part of me was like, how did they not reach out to us?
right? Well, okay. So I think at one point too, like I ran into you once and asked you about you wanting a bike, and I was confusing you with him in person.
Which is oddly how he oddly the prior to him emailing me, all of our interactions were through like the bicycle. Like I went to his townwide yard sale one day and he's like, "Hey, that's a nice bike. You want to sell it?" You know,
Yeah, right.
that kind of thing. So
Yeah, so I think we had a confusing conversation once, and it was because in my brain I was just thinking, "Oh, bike, Bristol, it's my neighbor," but no, you.
and I was talking with Meredith um at the townwide yard sale. We were talking about bike stuff and she told me of Todd. She told me of somebody on Pine Street as well
Mhm.
who are bike collectors. And I'm like, how have I been here for 10 years thinking I'm the only person with a you know with a bike collecting problem.
No,
So anyway,
there are a couple, not a ton, but there are a few in town.
yeah. So anyway, it was good. It was a good week. So
Yep.
um, well, anyway, is are there any more issues or anything like that we need to discuss?
I don't think so. I feel like I've been kind of out of the loop, honestly. Summer got crazy busy, so.
What I might do, I saw Darla's thing where they turned off the equity meeting for this month. If we don't have any forward movement or the need for a meeting in July,
Mhm.
we might take July off, to be honest.
So as long
Um,
like kind of move forward with the grant stuff offline.
we can do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can because the next moves are offline. The next moves are with the grant writer.
yeah. So
So,
yeah, sounds fine to me. I think everyone has a hard time in the summer, so
well, yeah, obviously, like this is you were almost it this time. So.
yep. So yeah, I mean, if something comes up, I'm sure we can find a time. But
Yeah, so we'll figure that out offline, and then we'll communicate that one early, like we've done in the last the couple that we actually changed the date on. We communicated those changes early. So
yep. Um, one little thought I had was in terms of any like future surveys of walkability specifically. So I do the food shelf as well. And there are people that walk up to receive food.
yeah,
Like sometimes we'll try to give them like carts or something if we have them available or whatever. But I wonder if that crowd might be a great place to hand out any kind of survey. Um,
okay, that would be cool. Yeah,
area for travel around Bristol and Greater Bristol area. Um, yeah, because not every
yeah,
vehicle, so that's it shows itself in that area.
I will. I'll dig up the draft survey that Local Motion did for us that I had mentioned previously. Hopefully, it's still live. It never got circulated to the public because there was just all this. It seemed way more like a demographic survey than it did a usage survey.
Yeah, we
And
definitely need usage and simple.
yeah, we okay, fine, establish who you are demographically, but the majority of the survey should be about the usage.
Yeah.
And but I'll grab that. I believe that was SurveyMonkey. You had asked previously about, I think if we had what was that grant thing you had asked about?
Oh, Grant Station. It's
Grant
just
Station.
a site that can
So
collect.
I'll what I'll do is I'll send a note to Ian and say, hey, do we have a SurveyMonkey account and a Grant Station account? If not, obviously we can do it with a Google survey. uh, just the managing of that on the back end isn't necessarily always as clean as it is with dedicated software like SurveyMonkey.
Yeah, I would be surprised if the grant writer for the town didn't have Grant Station because
Yeah.
when you sign up, you can get it for like $100 a year,
Yep. Yep.
and it's definitely very very useful. So
Okay. I'll make a note to follow up on that.
yep, but that way we could easily go on and look, and you can put in your specifics for what kind of grant you're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah, she's already going to do that, but it could be helpful for us to be able to as well to see what's coming up.
Yep. Yep. Good idea. Okay, then if that's it, I'll make a motion. Hold on one second. I need to note the time. 7:35. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I second.
Perfect. Or actually, let's reverse that.
I make,
I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I motion.
Okay, I gotta get the order. I want to get the order right on that. Okay, 7:35. Okay, great. With that, see y'all later. Jim, thanks as always for joining
Okay.
us. Tanya,
Have a
talk
good
to you
weekend,
later.
guys.
All right, have
Thanks
a good
everyone.